This is a Amazon 4 Series television. There's kind of like a myth out there that you need to spend a lot of money to get a good TV these days. That is a myth. Look at the quality here. I'm going to even zoom in even more. So this is the actual television. There's a lot of questions about what's the difference between the Amazon 4 Series second generation television and the first generation, because I have a review that I did in 2021 of the Amazon 4 Series TV right here, and that television has been my television for 4 years. But now there is the second generation Amazon Fire 4 Series TV over here. The difference between the Amazon Omni and the 4 Series TV is that the Omni is going to be coming with hands-free Alexa, so you don't necessarily need to use it with a remote. It also comes with ambient mode, something you do not get on the 4 Series. The Omni TV is going to be a little bit brighter with video calling. So the Omni is pretty similar to the 4 Series, except it's going to have a little bit more features. Where you're seeing a much bigger jump is when you get from the LED TV to the QLED or the mini LED TVs from Amazon, because your LED panels are going to be in that 43, 50, and 55 inch range. But once you get to the Omni QLED and the mini LED, if you get to the QLED, they can go all the way up to 75 inches, and those mini LEDs, there is a 85 inch panel from Amazon now. The 4 Series TV comes with a 60 Hz refresh rate, the same refresh rate you're getting on the QLED as well as the Omni TV from Amazon. It also comes with Wi-Fi 5 and not Wi-Fi 6. If you want Wi-Fi 6, you're going to need to go to the mini LED, and it comes with 3 HDMI 2.0 ports and 1 HDMI eARC port. So even though the reflection is quite good on scenes where it's going to be very dark, you can see some of the glare, you can see some of the reflection coming off the screen itself. So something that is missing from your 4 Series is that there is no Dolby Vision and there is no Dolby Atmos on these panels. Now, that's probably because of price, because you have to pay a licensing fee in order to utilize them. So we're already seeing Samsung not having Dolby Vision either, because they don't want to pay for that codec. Not having Dolby Vision a deal breaker? Probably not, because not a lot of the content or movies that you're watching on streaming is going to be Dolby Vision enabled. But if you got a lot of Blu-ray and you want your television to be able to translate that Blu-ray into Dolby Vision, this is not the TV for that. The Amazon 4 Series is coming with the enhanced 4 Series remote, and you can see that it has a Alexa voice control button, even though it doesn't have the voice controls, so you can still use it with some voice controls, and they have the shortcut keys built inside. If we're talking about build quality, the 4 Series televisions are going to be primarily made out of plastic. The legs are not going to be the most sturdy. Comparing the second generation's bezels to the first, on the left is the second generation, and there's a black bar there. So if you add up the black bar with the updated thinner bezel, it pretty much equals the existing bezel you already had. So I'm not going to go out there and say the bezel is much thinner, because with that black bar, it's pretty much the same thickness as before. Not a huge difference here, it's just a slight difference in the design, but honestly, 10 feet away, they basically look identical outside of a material change on the plastic. One of the key things about the 4 Series is that the television is a little bit thick. So if you're looking at the TV, it's going to be just about 3.5 inches thick, which means if you're trying to mount it on the wall like a flat slab, something like you do with the Samsung frame up there, or other TVs that are like TV slabs, where you just put them on the wall. So the 4 Series TV is not going to mount as flush, and it's going to give you a little bit of gap because the top is more narrow than the bottom. So no local dimming features means there's no blooming around bright objects in a dark room. And it's going to be a huge plus if you are a normal TV watcher and you're not basically using this in a home cinema. If you are using this in a room that's bright, you're using this in regular life, you're getting a television for your daughter's room, for your teenage son's room. Definitely one of the interesting things for me is the viewing angle. So the viewing angles of this television, there's been a lot of discussion about how it's not great, right? It's not great, especially if you're sitting far away and you're sitting all the way to the side. So in that case, yes, I think it's still pretty good. I don't notice a real bad viewing angle here where it's really taking away from the experience, where it's too dark or you don't see the contrast well. Here, I think the viewing angle is actually reliable, and for the honest price, for $350, it's good. So looking at the overall color gamut on the 4 Series from the new panel to the existing panel, you'll notice that the colors are fairly accurate for the price. If you go to a more expensive panel, it's going to be more accurate. There's going to be brighter green here that's going to seem a little bit more natural. But that's okay, because for me, I still know this is a field. I still know what I'm looking at. One thing is I do not notice a huge change in terms of the overall brightness of the panel. So I don't think there's a huge nit jump that you got from the original 4 Series to the new one, where it's probably going to be just around 300, maybe even 350 nits if there's an improvement. What you'll notice is that the HDR is going to be better. So even though it's just a slightly little bit better in terms of the brightness, the color accuracy and the depth of the color, I feel, are just better detailed, better upscaled, as well as just better, slightly, better looking on the new 4 Series TV. So this is what the televisions look like side by side without the lights on. They both look so similar, right? Now, the blue is going to be a little bit more rich. The blue is going to be a little bit more rich on the updated 4 Series, but you can still make that adjustment and make it very similar. So can you tell the difference between the OG 4 Series and the second generation 4 Series? Which one is it? We're not going to tell you, but which one is it? And you can also see the color as well as any differences between the two panels, because we have our calibration and our settings at exactly the same between both. And right now, from this distance, which I'm about 10 feet away, I do not notice a difference between the two. I do not notice a difference between the two. So this is the overall menu for your Fire TV. So it's going to look just like your Fire Stick, and there's nothing really different about it except that you get to use the voice commands. One thing you want to know about this TV is that if you want to change anything in terms of the display and sounds, one of the best ways to go about it is just to go into the display and sound section. So here you have Alexa Home Theater. That means you can now set it up with Echo speakers and the subwoofer. So if you want to make that into a little home theater system with your Echo Dots or your bigger Echoes. Then you have your picture settings. This is going to depend on which HDMI you are on. And then you have the sound settings. Sound settings, you have the capabilities to adjust the balance, the equalizer, and you have the ability to have the advanced settings in terms of enhancing the dialogue. So it's going to sound a little bit more clear, but it's going to artificially suppress the bass as well as other sounds. So then the question is, what do you do when you want to screencast? So this is also going to be very simple to do. You're just going to press the cog button on your Fire remote. Here you're going to find display mirroring. In this display mirroring, it's going to show you this screen. Now, something that's going to be really easy to do is going to be just open up your Prime Video or whichever service you want to use. And as long as it has the cast up top, so depending on what you want to watch, so let's say we wanted to watch just a trailer, or I wanted to just cast my screen onto my television behind me, I just press the cast. So if you're looking at the menu of your 4 Series panel, I want everyone to go to your picture. So you go to your picture here, you'll notice that you have your picture mode and you have your backlight. Full array local dimming zones just means that it can control the light in each of these zones. So the intensity of the light, the more zones you have, the smaller the zone. So they have now made the zones so small that some of these new panels come with like 1,000 zones right at the top. That's like getting a Christmas tree and one light turns on all the lights or turns on off the lights. The intensity can be adjusted, but it's not going to be adjustable like a full array local dimming zone. So because you have that backlight here, you don't really have any blooming, because there's not areas that are going to be blooming, which means you have areas that are dark. It's not going to have this white cloud around it. That's what they call blooming, like an angel. So you're not going to have a lot of those halo blooming effects here because the backlight is always going to be at that intensity you set it at. But the drawback of that is that if you have a dark scene where everything is black or dark in the scene, you're going to notice that it's not going to be completely jet black on the screen. It's always going to have a backlight hue to it. So the blacks will never be a perfect black like you get with a OLED panel. So ultimately, what's our verdict? The Amazon 4 Series television is a budget, value, conscious-minded television. So it's not meant to be the most expensive television in the room. It's not meant to be the best. What it is meant to do is to deliver good value. And I think it does that because you have that calibration option. So if you're thinking, oh, well, the greens are not that natural, you know, the yellows, I wish the yellow in the sunrise was a little bit more warm. You can change that. You can change it. And if you're not sure how to do it, there's a lot of different guides online that can help you figure that out yourself. After having my 4 Series TV, this 4 Series TV for over 4 years, and having my new 4 Series TV, do I think it's worthy of an upgrade? No. I think if you can get the current 4 Series television, the OG, for half off the price of the new 4 Series, I would definitely get the OG. And that doesn't mean there hasn't been improvements in terms of the picture quality on your Amazon 4 Series TV here, but in terms of the audio quality, pretty much the same. Picture quality, just a little bit of benefits, but not huge. I didn't get full local array dimming zones. There's not this jump from LED to mini LED or QLED here. 20 years ago, we were watching television in HD. Now we're at 8K. So our eyes are constantly getting better. The technology is getting better. But there's a point where increases in the technology only give you small benefits while costing a lot more money. So that's why I like the Amazon 4 Series, because you get a lot. It doesn't cost you that much. And can you get better? Yes, but you got to pay more, definitely. And if you want to compare it to something like the Insignia televisions or other budget-minded televisions, I still think the Amazon 4 Series is going to be a good buy. So with that, thanks for watching, everybody. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm here to help. And please hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help support our channel. And I'm happy that I got to show you our TVs. And I'll catch you next time. This is Dave with the French Glow signing off. Bye, bye, bye.